Good evening. Um, I don't usually talk about this stuff, and I don't follow this stuff. I don't really know anything about Turning Point America, USA, and don't care. It's Candace Owens' old organization. She had to drop out. I think she resigned after she made those comments about the Jews, and Hitler wasn't that bad. He wouldn't have been so bad if he had left Germany. Whatever. Face looking kind of dry. Anyway, looking at Majority Report, Sam Cedar, and he was referencing some comments made at a Turning Point USA event. It was a white nationalist. He trolled Charlie Kirk and Rob Smith. I didn't even know who Rob Smith was. Charlie Kirk, kind of. It's a couple of white guys I follow on YouTube, and they really dive deep. And that's how I get a lot of this stuff. Sam Cedar, Majority Report. I used to follow Status Quo. He's still on there. He don't really do nothing. David Pakman, and another gentleman I can't remember his name. Another guy I watch as well. Jimmy Dore. I watch Young Turks sometimes. If it's something important, like Young Turks is trying to be. See, it's almost like with the era of Trump, everything got thrown off. So people are trying to become their own media. They're trying to become the media. It's like we're in a disaster, and we're trying to live like people lived before the disaster started. And so that's who these folks are. They're just they're real media in a world full of fake media. So at this rally, this white nationalist, I guess they had like an open session. He asked Mr. Smith, the gay guy, the black guy, he asked him, how does anal sex help us win the culture war? And Mr. Smith's like, why don't you ask me, And the dude's like, okay. And he's like, well, since you already asked it. And it just got me because it's like he's trying to be the strong black man with people who hate him for that. And when I see stuff like that, it makes me laugh because I know I'm hated by them, regardless of sexual orientation. I know I'm hated by them. I just have enough sense to know that. You can run up in there with your $200 Italian loafers on, and you can do all that stuff, man. They still hate you. That's why when he's at the mic, he was holding a little cross on his hand, a little on the chain. I knew what that was. These people hate you, and you're not going to be accepted by them. Period. I find it interesting. The Yiannopoulos guy and this guy, Mr. Smith, this gay black guy. I find it interesting that these guys are gay. That black guy, Janus, I was telling you about. Janus, something on YouTube. These gay black guys that want to say they're conservatives. I mean, it's just like, I drove over the road. I drove trucks. These crackers hate gay people. And they don't really like black folks either. They'll tolerate you if there's some sort of a benefit. They don't like you. And the fact that conservatives can't look at that and say, hey, we can use this guy. The fact that they would come to a public open event and attack this man, it really it left me laughing because I don't even follow this stuff. It's kind of like when I think it was Sam Cedar, Majority Report. He had something. It was a black guy on Fox Business News. This is when they had them the shutdown of the Ford factories, and it was something in Canada. It was Youngstown, Ohio, and it was Detroit. Fired like 1,500 people. It's a big layoff. People were crying, And they were talking about what that was. They were talking about what that was. And the black guy on there, he really came out. He said, hey, look, man, if they keep doing this, you're going to get a real socialist president. I agree with that completely. And it's like I told my dad, a broken clock tells the time right twice a day. 2 times a day is right. even though we don't like the clock. And if it wasn't for people like him, I wouldn't even have known about that. Yeah, because, see, it's not that they're against corporate greed. I think some of the people on Fox News are. But it's that they realize you can do it to the point to where, hey guys, you're being greedy. And they get that. And not to say Ford gives a fuck what somebody on Fox Business News thinks. That's completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. But I'm just making the point that if, that's basically what they're saying. They say, hey man, chill out. It's kind of like if I know somebody playing ball with me that's doing drugs or drinking a lot. I'm like, hey man, chill out with that. You need to cool that out. You need to go get some help. They're gonna fucking fire you. Anyway, I just feel like personally, if that's your outlook, see, you know what it really shows me when I see stuff like that. When somebody asks you that, how's gay anal sex win the culture war? What you're basically saying is you think the culture war is about keeping things white, heterosexual, and Christian. And for you, it isn't about, winning the culture or whatever. It's about winding by the clock. That's what I see. That's what that says to me is that's what how you see reality is winding back the clock to an earlier time. And if you can't get that, then you're willing to resort to violence. That's really what those kind of guys are saying. People like me. Is that, gay marriage has been legalized and everything. You guys are still pissed. You're still angry. I don't understand how they think. It's weird how the older I get and the more I learn, I don't understand them no more. I can still, not conservative, I can still think about money and physical conservatism, and I can still understand all that. But just this virulent rage against homosexuality, this virulent rage against immigrants, this virulent rage against anything that's not 100% pro-free market capitalist, this rage against climate change, I don't understand it. And I mean that on a deeper level. I don't get it. I don't get that rage. Like for me, my rage is with inequality. My rage is with a society where we're at war all the time. My rage is with all this constant growth and destroying the wetlands and them setting fire to the Amazon. My rage is with the fact that we know Exxon and these other companies knew about climate change back in the day and we did nothing to stop it. My rage is with these corporations that pollute these waterways. People get sick, they get sued, and then they'll like 3M they just change the molecule of the chemicals a little bit and then put it another company to run it, like a little shell company to run it. That's my issue. That's my frustration. That's where I get irritated. Not with it doesn't make sense. In fact, hold on a second. It doesn't make sense, and it's based upon this idea that they're gonna be on top all the time, no matter what. Let's see. How on earth could young people whose wages are flat, cost of living skyrocketing, experiencing increasing social instability via bigotry, addiction, violence, expected to live shorter lifespans, and previous generations dare question larger economic forces in their lives? I wanted to read something to you, and I'm not sure I can find it. Oh, man. Oh, here it is. I found it. We have a lot of insecure people who desperately need someone to look down on. Never support any politician that gives them a license to hate. I'm going to say it again. We have a lot of insecure people who desperately need someone to look down on. and they will support any politician that gives them a license to hate. This is back when they had the thing in Alabama. Roy Moore was running and everything. It said Alabama's problems are indicative of America's problems. We always said it. Discrimination in America will not end until it ends in Alabama. He said, nothing's learned from the South's defeat in 1865. Still stuck that justice. Poor man, it must be hard for him to wake up every morning and notice he lives in the wrong time in history, which will move on and condemn him to oblivion anyway. Woman says, there are bridges falling into the river. Veterans' health care is almost universally underfunded. Our economy is still not good. But don't pay attention to that. Look, everybody, who's in that bathroom? All this nonsense about gays, transgender people, reproductive rights, etc. is just circus to distract the uneducated, and in this case, Bible-thumping masses, from the unpleasant facts of a 40-year decline of middle income, rising inequality, and terrifically expensive, perpetual, and imperialistic wars, making a fraction of the 1% very rich. Who cares if I can't afford dental? Who cares if I can't afford dental care or see my child choose college over becoming cannon fodder, as long as two men can't shove their happy legal marriage down my throat? Oh, Lord. For a very long time, distractions have been used as a successful technique by the Republican Party to get people to vote against their own best interests. I'm not going into all this. We in the South have hid behind the wall of religiosity and morality while selling out and brutalizing the least powerful and most vulnerable for far too long. I'm not going to read all this here. But, I read all that. It just gets me that this man's at a rally. And you know what's crazy is, Neely Fuller says this all the time, that it used to be they would use gay men. Like, they let a black man come work for them, but he isn't a threat to them. And now they're so desperate to where they're even saying, shit, I still don't like you. You're not a threat to me. That's why Friday I was doing a run, flatbed. I was out there in Stanley County. And these crackers looking at me off. And one of them had a Trump hat on. There's like 12 stops. And I was just laughing. I mean, when I seen he had a Trump hat on, I just kind of, I'm like this. Wow. You know. And it got me because I think about the polls now. So many people are against Trump now. And how that Trump has almost a sign of rebellion more than it is a sign of believing in Trump and what he's talking about. And I'm not going into that. I'm not even going into that. It's a sign of rebellion more than it is, you believe in what he talks about and what he says. I mean, I had shirts when I was a teenager. I had In the Fed and IRS shirts and fluoride and tap water shirts. I had that stuff when I was a teenager, when I was a young man. I did. Because that was something I believed in. But as a grown man, I don't really wear that kind of stuff. But I guess different attitude now. Okay, Anyway, it's just amazing that you have this black guy who totally agrees with you, and you've paid money to come to the rally. You disrespect him, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to see that as a gay man to be like, well, these folks wouldn't be accepting of me. I would know that, but for them, they're trying to. I don't know. It's trying to be accepted by people who will never accept you. Point blank. Period. You can dress like a white man, you can talk like a white man, you can even date white men. I said it again. You can talk like a white man. You can dress like a white man. You can even date white men. Does not mean you'll be accepted by these racists, these cavemen out here. Point blank, period. Peace.